The game is afoot. Not a word. Into your clothes and come.
Ah, qu'est-ce qui se passe?
I'll wait for you in the sitting room. I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade, a letter from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
Bon ben c'est parti, donc notre petit rituel, c'est faire un petit câlin à Toby.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Alors le télescope, ça doit être toujours la même chose. Voilà. Alors, il faut que je vérifie aussi à chaque fois.
My archive.
Non, pas
I can
ça.
always...
Ça. Il pleut chez toi, d'accord. Donc ça, c'était notre enquête précédente. Il mérite que la peine de mort. Ah, j'ai cru que... Hop. Ah, c'est tous les armes utilisées dans chaque enquête. Salut Massa, comment vas-tu? Bonne année à tous. Que je l'ai pas dit. Ça, c'est toutes les conclusions. Perfect.
My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter. A wax seal with the monogram E.B. The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Alors, cher monsieur Holmes, je serais très heureux d'avoir votre concours immédiatement pour ce qui promet d'être une affaire de plus remarquable et tout à fait dans vos cordes, qui plus est. Je me suis borné à délivrer Milady. Pour le reste, je verrai à ce que tout reste exactement dans l'état où je l'ai trouvé. En contrepartie, je vous prie de ne pas perdre un instant car il est difficile de laisser ici Sir Eustache. Eustace. Bien à vous, inspecteur Lestrade.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
Prometteur.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Bon, ben c'est parti. Hop. Bah pour l'instant, moi j'aime bien ce jeu. C'est pas spécialement un jeu très difficile. C'est vrai qu'au début, j'ai eu beaucoup de mal sur la première enquête. Mais globalement, si tu vas tout chercher et tout, enfin, t'as pas, tu n'as pas le droit à l'erreur, mais tu peux quand même revenir en arrière, surtout pour la fin, quand tu accuses quelqu'un. Mais c'était sympa. Enfin, pour l'instant, c'est sympa en tout cas.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise a right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Pour l'instant, moi j'ai toujours un petit faible pour l'enquête du train fantôme. Pour ceux qui ont suivi, je trouve que c'était la plus sympa.
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall.
Après, on va voir avec celle-là. J'aime beaucoup l'ambiance de ce jeu.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Moi j'ai toujours bien aimé l'époque de Londres, à l'époque de Jack l'Éventreur, tout ça.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Ok, mais c'est pas toi que je voulais.
Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
Ah non, c'est pas ça que je voulais faire. Premier temps, j'aime bien regarder, c'est le nombre de suspects. Ah, il n'y a pas l'air d'en avoir beaucoup là aussi. Il y en a que 3. Ouais, il n'y en a que 3. Peut-être que ce sera pas très long, on verra bien. Parce que j'ai remarqué que globalement, les enquêtes, si je fais pas n'importe quoi, ça dure plus ou moins 3 heures. Un peu moins de 3 heures des fois. Où est-ce que je pourrais aller? Ici peut-être? Ouais, c'est ça.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Putain, le bleu qu'elle a. On va d'abord examiner, on va dire. C'est ça, et puis tant que ça apparaît toujours, tu sais qu'il y a quelque chose à regarder à tel lieu. Quand tu fais attention, en fait, c'est pas très compliqué en soi.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11. absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Faire ça plutôt.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you... Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
Alors, ok, peut-être parler à elle.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir. As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw three men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Ok. J'ai pas, mais je trouve que les visages sont pas très expressifs, mais je trouve que les détails sont super beaux. Enfin, quand il y a toujours un gros plan sur le visage.
A trapper's hut.
Je trouve que le Sherlock Holmes, il est vraiment bien fait. Il me rappelle un peu l'acteur dans une vieille série. Bon, c'est pas tout à fait lui, mais ça me fait un peu penser à ça. Peut-être qu'ils sont inspirés de lui.
But which one?
Ouais, le doublage est pas mal aussi. J'ai bien fait de re-regarder.
So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Carrément, ils volent la photo et tout.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Tous les coups, elle va me dire qu'elle a pas le code et tout, il va falloir faire une énigme.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not have a combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
Pourquoi j'ai eu raison?
Let us try to open this safe. This safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Ça fait rien, mais... Peut-être qu'il faut voir quand il bouge, je sais pas. Ah, c'est ça, d'accord. D'accord. Ça, c'était pas compliqué. J'ai eu peur. Ne laisse pas... Ne laisse pas me quitter. Ok.
Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care. It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a
De toute façon, c'est
criminal.
pas un cambriolage. De la bonne. Va savoir, je sais pas. Pour l'instant, je me dirais que c'est peut-être trop facile, mais c'est peut-être la femme. Vu que tout à l'heure, elle a avoué que son mari l'avait tabassé. Puisqu'il buvait beaucoup. Pour l'instant, je dirais ça. De toute façon, il n'y a que 3 coupables. Il y a 3 suspects, quoi. Mais bon, pour l'instant, c'est trop tôt. Pour juger. Avec le chandelier. Ah, peut-être. Oh, je lis pas tout. Hein.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Bon, on dirait que la pièce ici c'est bon.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being,
Ah.
to be more precise.
Quoique, c'est vrai que la bonne, ça pourrait
It is
être
true
elle.
that he once threw a decanter at me And all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead. But a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was specially hard for her.
Ok. On va aller voir le cadavre. Non, ça c'est pour
The
sortir.
body is still in the dining room where the murder took place.
On se calme. Inspecteur.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Ouais, c'est ça. Donc on verra bien. Non, on ira dehors après.
A hunter's cabin. The hunting scene. So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
A fur trader's cabin.
On verra bien si cette fois-ci on aura enfin plusieurs coupables.
This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. A decanter standing. Château Calon-Ségur, French wine.
Comme il l'a dit.
Cru.
Les trois, qui sait, hein?
That must be the murder weapon. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow.
Ça aurait
That
dû
is
faire
one
mal s'il est
possible
tombé dessus.
explanation.
Heureux Massin.
A deer hunt. The hunting scene. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen.
Merci Massa pour le sub. Bonne année à toi aussi.
A bottle of wine is missing here. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware. Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Ouais, il faut demander à Toby. Ah bah oui, c'est ça. Allez chercher Toby. Ouais. Et
This is the
toutou.
chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Alors, est-ce qu'on a tout exploré? Ah.
A trapper's hut. A trapper's hut.
Ok, deux fois la même chose, tout va bien. Peut-être ça.
Antique hunting weapons. A deer hunt. This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
Ok, bon, on va aller voir le toutou. Donc on va peut-être aller d'abord dehors. Et après on va aller voir le toutou. S'il y a quelque chose à regarder en particulier. Je vais voir juste les maisons là, qu'est-ce qu'on vend. Ouais, c'est pas trop mal. Ah, peut-être aller voir la cabane. Et non, je ne ferai pas cette blague. On veut pas rentrer? Non, je peux pas. Pas y aller. Eh, Toby!
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
Il est trop beau, Zégé.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Il a carrément même le tapis. C'est tout?
I agree with you.
Il a rien fait. Ou c'est quand... Bon, on va examiner le cordon, tiens.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
Quelle blague. Ah ah. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse? Peut-être couper ici.
The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Ah. Peut-être enlever le nœud, non?
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Ok, bon, j'ai pas trop compris ce que j'ai fait. J'ai juste peut-être vu ce qu'il a utilisé pour couper la corde, mais... Là, ça va. Bon, Toby, tu fais rien de plus.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Bon, peut-être qu'il faut revenir, faut qu'il y ait le chien. Parce que là, il demande de récupérer Toby. Inspecter la scène de crime à la salle à manger. Ah, à la salle à manger, j'ai pas tout vu. Coupé au couteau. Ok. Ah, il est là le toutou. T'as la tronche qu'il a sur les côtés. De près, il fait peur quand même.
Such, Toby.
Ah, je joue le chien. D'accord. C'est génial. Je peux courir? Ah ouais. Je valide cette enquête pour l'instant. On n'a pas notre policier fétiche, mais au moins on a Toby. On joue Toby.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Merde. Mais du coup, attends. Pas trop compris le délire. J'ai pas dû bien regarder. Tu veux pisser sur la moquette? Je pense pas. Enfin, en tout cas, j'ai pas la commande dans le jeu. J'en sais rien. Fallait faire le tour, je sais pas. Je sais pas, parce qu'apparemment le... Ah, peut-être là. Ah, voilà. J'avais pas vu qu'il y avait une autre piste là.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Allez, Toby.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route. Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Dommage, c'est fini. Donc on va aller voir peut-être la remise du coup.
Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recent. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty. This hook might be useful.
Je dirais que c'est bon. On va aller voir le puits.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
Bah tu utilises le crochet. Bah voyons Sherlock.
Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence.
Ouais, c'est un coup monté en fait. La fille, enfin, qui que ce soit, a fait croire qu'ils ont volé des trucs.
The Brackenstall coat
Et
of
elle a juste
arms.
jeté.
It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Attends, c'était où que... Ils étaient censés partir. Ça, je vois le toutou, mais... Ah là, d'accord, j'avais pas vu.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Je sais pas, j'ai l'impression de ça, que c'est un prétexte et une des deux ou le troisième suspect l'a tué, quoi. À savoir. Sur le coup des voleurs, j'y crois qu'à moitié, quoi. Enfin, j'y crois pas du tout même. Je pense plutôt.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me.
Je crois que tu as un décalage du stream. Tom, tu devrais faire un... Tu devrais relancer la fenêtre, je pense. J'ai l'impression que tu es super décalé.
A fur trader's
À moins qu'il
cabin.
part en sucette, là... Enfin, pas en sucette, la connexion. Ah, on dirait que c'est bon. Ah, 10 secondes, non, ça va alors. C'est moi qui ai eu une impression.
A fur trader.
Merde.
A hunter scene. The Brackenstall family appear to be preoccupied with hunting.
Ah, non, je croyais que tu répondais à moi. D'accord. Non, c'est moi qui ai complètement déraillé. J'avais pas vu ton message, Massa. Il y a un cadavre. Oui, oui, il est là. C'est le mari de la femme qui est là-bas. Hop. Il y a la femme ici. Et il y a la bonne à côté, qui sont les deux suspects. Et il y a un troisième suspect qu'on n'a toujours pas vu.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Non, c'est pas ça, Tom. C'est que, en fait, je pensais que tu parlais de par terre pour quand j'ai examiné le mur. Et comme il y avait un certain temps que je l'avais fait, c'est pour ça.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship?
Et là, c'est la bonne.
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Ouais.
Indeed.
Et très modeste, Sherlock Holmes aussi. Alors, on va faire les déductions. Là, c'est où déjà? C'est là. Oula, il y a plein de trucs. C'est ça. Et en fait, on a appris que le mari buvait beaucoup, qu'il était très malade du coup, parce qu'il buvait, il buvait beaucoup, et un problème de santé, et qu'il s'en était pris aussi à sa femme. Donc c'est pour ça que je suspecte ou la femme ou la bonne. Ouais, 3 personnes peut-être. C'est pour ça, je vais mettre 3 d'abord. Ouais. On va mettre ça pour l'instant. Et salut ailleurs, comment vas-tu? Bonne année. Et surtout la santé, tout ça. Enceinte pour que les points pointent vers les randales. On va mettre ça d'abord pour commencer. Hein. On verra bien. On va mettre ça. Peut-être déjà je peux je peux les accuser. Non, bah je vais mettre ça. Ok.
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
Le mec, il
To the
mérite la
point
mort.
that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Hmm. Ouais. Ça s'est bien passé. Bon, moi, comme je le disais, pour le nouvel an, on n'a rien fait de spécial par chez moi. Et toi, j'espère que c'est bien
Lord
passé.
Brigham Brackenstall.
On dirait que c'est fini déjà le truc.
Please leave my...
Oh, what a horrible thing.
Holmes, don't look at me like that.
Parce qu'il faut que j'aille quelque part là. Parce qu'on dirait que c'est fini déjà. Et pourtant il me manque un suspect là. Attends. C'est pas déjà fini, c'est pas possible. Ah voilà. Chercher des marins suspects. Encore ces marins. Je crois qu'il faut retourner à Baker Street. Bon, bah, du coup, on fera faire la pause, du coup, si ça se finit vite. Et on commencera peut-être qu'on la finira pas, mais on commencera l'autre enquête. Alors... Merde, c'est pas ça que je voulais faire.
Here it is.
Ah là là, je croyais que t'avais l'overdose. De Bagnini. Isaac. Binding, pardon. J'arrive plus à parler. Jamais 203, ouais.
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Et là, Toby.
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire. My archive. I can all. This is where I keep my post. My archive. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
C'est où que je recharge du coup? Ah, il faut que j'appelle le gamin.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893 and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Ça sent le bras de fer. Oh non, hein.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes.
J'en peux plus de ce truc, hein. Surtout pas ça.
It's too risky.
Put it on the
À
table.
choisir, je préfère les mélanges là. Des
Good
couleurs.
work, young Wiggins.
I left it.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor.
7
And these are
novembre
the lists of the senior
1894.
officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
Attends.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Ça doit être ça. Adélaïde. Départ le 16 mars et arrivé le 23 mai. Le 23 mai. D'accord, ça j'avais pas fait gaffe.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Ok. C'est bon.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Ok, il faut que je regarde la liste, d'accord. Père.
I do not
Non,
think
c'est pas
that this
celui-là.
sailor has any connection to
Il
the
est là.
case. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Ah.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of
Il faut que je les fasse
Gibraltar,
tous, là.
on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that
Ah,
someone
non, c'est
on
bon.
this list is our mysterious visitor.
Bon, on va quand même tous les faire. Thomas.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. I do not think that this
Non,
sailor
trompé.
has any connection to the case. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at
Vegas
the time of the
14,
murder.
ouais. Je l'ai fait quand j'ai fait le montage de la première enquête. Quand j'ai fait toutes les coupures qu'il y avait à faire. Et non, franchement, il est sympa. C'est basique comme celui que j'avais de base. Non, il fonctionne bien. Pour l'instant, je croise les doigts. Ça fonctionne. Merci. Faire venir Crocker, pardon, pour le confronter.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him.
Peut-être il faut retourner. Ouais, il faut revenir à
I can't leave yet. I must talk to Captain
à
Crocker
l'abbaye.
first.
Quoi? Attends, j'ai pas entendu.
I can't leave yet. I must talk to Captain Crocker first.
Ah, il faut que je l'appelle ici. D'accord.
Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
J'ai jamais utilisé Windows Movie Maker.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Ah, déjà, regard franc, honnête. Ok, c'est bon, c'est pas lui, quoi. un honnête meurtrier. Ça sent le bras de fer contre lui. Le capitaine Haddock. Ah non, hein.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Oh putain, je sens
Indeed,
mal.
how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Je dirais le nœud marin. Ah, c'est bon.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Shark. I was supervising the
Ok, il y
repair
a
of a
Watson qui s'en
port.
fout à côté.
At night.
Alors qu'il venait dire tout à l'heure que c'était dangereux de le faire venir.
You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Alors. Non, je dirais alibi. Ah non, ça... Je suis obligée de dire ça. Ah, je suis tentée quand même de l'accuser. Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? Bon, je serais tentée de faire ça. Et puis de toute façon, si c'est pas ça, au pire, on remettra en arrière. Ouais, allez. Je l'accuse, tant pis. Je vais me faire tabasser, mais... C'est parti.
Wiggins,
Moi non
could
plus,
you
bah
ask
ça,
Mr.
mais bon,
Crocker
voilà.
to come here again, please?
C'est pas grave. Ça,
Right away.
ça me fera toujours une déduction pour le trophée. Où il faut faire toutes les déductions. Enfin, il faut accuser... Enfin, avoir
Why
toutes
did
les
you make
fins,
me
quoi.
come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is
Oh.
time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her.
Ah,
I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit
Ah,
I
bon,
killed
bah,
the
c'est lui.
monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
oula, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Merde! Non! Non! C'est bon.
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
Ah, il allait
I
se
am
suicider,
sorry,
d'accord.
Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went
Merci.
smoothly for once.
Bon, on va vérifier, mais bon. Voilà, parfait. Bon, bah, c'était rapide, hein. Allez, on classe l'affaire. Oui, c'est bon. Hop. Bon, bah, elle était rapide. Je sais pas ce que vous en avez pensé, mais... Non, c'est fini, finalement. Je disais que les enquêtes, ça durait, quoi, 3 heures? Un peu moins de 3 heures. Mais là, ça a duré, quoi, je pense 1 heure, je sais pas. Combien... On est à combien 1h10. Ouais, même pas 1 heure. Ton sens de déduction peu commun. Bon, bah c'était sympa. Bon, c'était court, mais bon. C'était... ouais. C'était rigolo, surtout le passage où on jouait le chien Toby pour renifler les empreintes, enfin la corde, je crois que c'était, je sais plus, enfin bref. Court mais intense. Bon bah je vais arrêter là pour la VOD. Donc merci de l'avoir suivi et à bientôt pour l'enquête suivante.